So, Andrew Benson from the BBC has got me thinking. In his one of his latest articles on the BBC, he's told us that for this 2026 season, the new change of regulations, that the early word is that the drivers who have the most spare mental capacity when driving, the likes of Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso, for example, will have an advantage as a result. Now, I want to know how Andrew was able to determine, of all of the Formula One drivers, which of them have the most spare mental capacity left over, because they're using some of their mental capacity to drive and then some of it's left over. Okay, so which of those drivers has got some left over, and how was Andrew able to work that out? Okay, let me know what you think in the comment section. Okay, because I don't know how he was able to calculate that. I mean, in the first instance, you've got to maybe assess the mental capacity of each of those drivers when they're not even driving. What are the relative intelligence levels of each of these drivers anyway? Okay, are we dealing with geniuses here, or are we dealing with retards? We don't know. And on that scale of retard to genius, those drivers may fit somewhere along there in different ways. Of each of those drivers, how much of their individual mental capacity are they using when driving the car, and how much of their mental capacity is left over? And of that leftover mental capacity, how much of that is actually useful? Questions. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Anyway, I've had a thought. So let's have a look about the spare mental capacity, because what we can do, we can observe some of their driving and some of their decision making and see what it is that these drivers might be thinking about as they're driving. Okay, so let's have a look here. I think a good one to start with, I mean, Nicholas Latifi. We wouldn't think Nicholas has got a lot of mental capacity to drive a car. I mean, the lad's got a degree, isn't he? He's got a degree. I mean, he was born into a multimillionaire family, heir to a multimillionaire company. Therefore, he got a seat in Formula One, did Nicholas? And then he's lived the dream, become a Formula One driver, and then he's gone to university to get himself a degree in, what is it, business. Get yourself a degree in business. You're going to get the job anyway, Nicholas, but go and get yourself a degree. So he's got the mental capacity to get a business degree. Well done there, Nicholas. Here's Nicholas having a drive, and he's got the mental capacity to look at his sat nav on the way round, his TomTom. What we can see there on Nicholas's screen is a number 4. That is the gear that he's in, and we'll just have a look. We'll have a look. And this is him driving round a corner, a racetrack, and you can hear. Have a listen. He's in 4th gear there. I mean, you can't see it because of his hand, but have a listen, and you can see that Nicholas is using his mental capacity. Some of it, I don't know how much of it, but he's using some of his mental capacity to moderate his throttle inputs as he's taking this corner in 4th gear. There you go. So he's moderating his throttle and then feeding the throttle in on exit of that corner to pick up the speed again. Good lad, Nicholas. Good lad. You can see there, 4th gear. I mean, we can go back and have a look again. 4, 4, 4. Nice and easy. Good lad, Nicholas. And then he's gone up to 5th. Well done, Nicholas. He's managed to use his mental capacity to change gear. Well done there, Nick. Anyway.
Has to be this lap, mate.
Has to be this lap, mate. So Nicholas has just been given some instructions. Now, does Nicholas have the mental capacity to be able to process and follow instructions? Okay.
Everything.
Has to be this lap, mate. Give it everything. Let's just double check that that's what Nicholas gets told.
That's the VP slap, mate. Give everything.
Has to be this lap, Nicholas. Give it everything. I don't know what has to be this lap because Nicholas is now on lap 52 of 58. You wouldn't suggest that this is your only opportunity to make an overtake because there's there'll be 5 laps left for you. It's a 58 lap race, but because you're lapped, you'll only complete 57 of them. So you've got 5 laps to go for you, Nicholas. Now, what give it everything this lap? Well, if you give it everything this lap and it has to be this lap, then surely if you've got nothing left, then what's going to make you have the ability to defend that position and not get re-overtaken? Have we got enough mental capacity to work that one through? Let's not worry about that. Let's chunk this through a few seconds because we've choreographed something here for you. What we've done, we've pretended that they're going to have a bit of a battle here. Mick Schumacher's in on it. So we've got a car that's pulled away, and the racing line around this corner is as we go down here, down towards turn 9. The racing line is you stay wide on entry, cut across to the apex, the curbing on the inside, and that will sweep you wide on exit. Let's have a look what Mick Schumacher does. Mick's moving over to the left. Bit early, Mick. Oh, and he's staying left. He's not covering the racing line, is Mick Schumacher. So we've had a bit of a choreographed fight there. But well done to Nicholas Latifi. He's used his mental capacity to, stay out of trouble, avoid the contact, pick up the dirt on his tyres for the narrative.
They forced me off them.
Yeah, well done. Nicholas has remembered to come out with the "they forced me off though" line.
Copy.
Copy. Oh, it's disappeared. What's happening now? Buffering. Please try again later. Video error. What's going on, Formula One? Are you monitoring me? Are you tracking me, Formula One? Let me pause this and let me see if I can go back. Wait there. We're back. Okay, we're going to just repeat this bit. Nicholas's scripted line. Here we go.
They forced me off them.
Yeah, well done. Copy that, Nicholas. Well done, lad. Have a look at his tom-tom there. See what gear he's in.
Copy.
Third. Mid-corner, is that? We're in third. Yeah, remember we took it in 4th gear. Now, kids, if you're not used to driving, when you're in a lower gear, right, you can spin your wheels more. I shouldn't be telling you that in case you want to be a little bit reckless. But when your car is in a lower gear, it's much easier to spin your wheels. Now, if you're driving a rear-wheel drive car and you select a lower gear and press the throttle down hard, you'll get them back wheels to spin. And if at the same time you put a bit of a steering angle on, then your back end of your car will step out, okay? And those of you that like the idea of drifting, then you have to kind of work out, but that's essentially, you start with that anyway, and then build up a feel to get control of doing that. But anyway, don't you worry about that. We're in 3rd gear, a lower gear than normal, because for each of the previous 5 laps, he was in 4th gear going around there. And then what you do, you go around in 4th gear and you feather the throttle in. Now, when you're in a lower gear, you have to be a bit more gentle with the throttle because of this notion of easily spinning the back tyres up. So you've got to be a little bit careful on your throttle input here. So what does Nicholas do? What does he use his mental capacity to do? Have a listen. Oh, he dumps it.
Copy.
Now listen. 3rd gear, so lower gear, easier to spin the tyres. Careful with the throttle, Nicholas. That sounded like the rev limiter. Till the back end stepped out on you, Nicholas.
They forced me off them.
Copy. Copy.
Well done, though. That's good mental capacity that you knew what you were doing there, Nicholas, because it had to be this lap. Now, with you having done that, let's have a look at Max Verstappen's mental capacity here and whether he had any excess. Before we look at Max, let's just have a look where Max is on the track.
Test, didn't they?
Max is up here at turn 7. All right, so he's come round turn 7. He's going to go down that straight that Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher staged, that bit of a fake contest down, you know, where Mick Schumacher left the door open for him. So Max is going to be there. Let's go and have a look. Because, oh no, Nicholas Latifi has crashed there at that corner. That blue dot is Nicholas Latifi's dot. And the red dot by him is the dot of Carlos Sainz, who should be passing that scene now. I mean, we can have a look. Let's have a look. There it is. Carlos Sainz has just passed it. Let's have a look. Let's have a listen to how Carlos Sainz does this. You see, he was going to feed the throttle in there. Didn't just dump the throttle, did he? Did Carlos? Oh, he's seen something on the track, so he's eased off. Good excess mental capacity there, Carlos. Well done. But oh no, Nicholas Latifi has crashed. Let's now have a look where Max Verstappen is. There he is, going under the bridge, going down there towards turn 9. Now he's behind. Is he behind Esteban Ocon or is he behind Fernando Alonso? What's the running order? What's the running order?
In terrible trouble.
Oh no! Yellow flag. Nicholas Latifi has crashed. I better look on tracker view.
Terrible trouble.
So he's actually behind Esteban Ocon. Currently at this stage, Ocon, Alonso and Norris are separating Verstappen from Hamilton. You know, around about 12
Come the
seconds.
first race.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Now, in terms of additional mental capacity, okay, they tell you that they've got 2 options. You can either restart the race with all of the lapped cars in situ, or you can do the unlapping procedure, right? Now, using your excess mental capacity, if one of the options is that you can resume the race director can decide if he wants, at his discretion, that he can resume the race with the lapped cars left in place. Because that's what they lied to you, pretending that there was a possibility here. Now, using your excess mental capacity, if that were true, would you risk pitting Max Verstappen and risking other cars then not pitting and going through on Max, leaving Max now with more cars in between him and the leader Hamilton? Would you risk that? You know, assuming now we're all using our excess mental capacity, right? What would you do if that was one of the possibilities here? Like, if we pit him and race control decides they're going to restart the race with lapped cars in situ, because I'm not sure it's mandatory. That's normally on a wet day where they don't. What's he going to do here? Because I think the safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap, and there will be one racing lap. That's what Martin has mind conditioned everybody to believe. Now, if that were true, and you were making your strategic call, if he's going to do that, do we leave ourselves just 3 cars behind Hamilton, or do we leave ourselves 5 cars behind Hamilton. What shall we do, everybody? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Well, you see, what you've got to bear in mind here is when we've got a bunched up line of cars like that, there's about half a second between each car. So in this current line of cars, once they're bunched up, where Max is at the moment, you've got to say when they're bunched up, Norris will be half a second behind Hamilton, Alonso making him 1 second behind Hamilton, making Ocon a second and a half behind Hamilton, making Verstappen 2 seconds behind Hamilton at the moment. They'll be when they get bunched up. So he's starting the last lap 2 seconds behind. Can he do it? Can he do it? What shall we do? Or do we allow the possibility of these cars coming through, meaning that it would be Ricciardo that's 2 seconds behind, because Ricciardo will be moved up to where Max is, and then Leclerc that's 2.5 seconds behind, and then it will be Max that's 3 seconds behind Hamilton with just 1 lap to go. Oh, but will the fresh tyres allow him to catch 3 seconds that lap and also do the overtake? Oh, let's all use our excess mental capacity to decide what we're going to do, being the ultimate strategists that we are. Well, I don't want to send you down wild goose chases, kids, because I know you don't really understand, because ultimately, sadly, you've been abused. All right, sadly, you've been exploited by child abusers who've actually abused you, abused your understanding of a situation, exploited your lack of understanding of the situation to serve the interests of the billionaires, sadly. And I'm trying to defend you and stand up for the abuse that you are on the receiving end of. But the thing is, you seem to like your abuser more than you like me. It's something called Stockholm syndrome. But don't you worry, little heads, about that. It might take years of counselling. You might never recover from it. But don't you worry. Anyway, let's have a look at Max Verstappen, the best you've ever seen. Car number 33. And Max's excess mental capacity, because what we are aware of, Max isn't aware of this yet. Max, he's using his excess mental capacity, right? Max may be telepathically aware that Nicholas Latifi has crashed, right? He might be aware of that. We don't know. He might have that excess mental capacity, right? We don't know. But we've got to assume that he doesn't, because it's happened at a part of the track that he can't see, and he doesn't know it's happened until he gets notified that it's happened, and until race control intervene by dealing with it. Yellow flags, and then choosing whether or not to use the safety car to deal with the situation. Let's have a look.
Max, there's a yellow flags at turn 14.
Right, so Max has been given some information. There's some information for Max. Now, what does this mean for Max? Right, so for Max is going into this last race of the season, right? 0-time world champion, but he's level on points with Lewis Hamilton, the record-breaking, record-equaling 7-time world champion, the best you've ever seen, Lewis Hamilton, right? Got the most pole positions, got the most race wins in the history of the sport, equal on 7 world championships with Michael Schumacher. You know the story with Hamilton. First and only black driver in Formula One, and has smashed everybody. Good lad. So Max has gone into the final race of the season, having been basically given every opportunity all year to win and not got the job done. They gifted him a race win, which never even started. They basically paraded the cars round it on a wet day in Belgium, beyond the safety car for a lap and a bit, and then went, Max Verstappen's won! Woohoo! I gave him 12.5 points, and everybody else less than that. But they did everything for him, and he still couldn't do it. But anyway, don't worry about that. He's gone into this last race of the season level on points with the greatest you've ever seen, and with just about 5 and a little bit laps to go, he's almost 12 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. And anybody that knows the sport of Formula One knows that unless Lewis Hamilton suffers a problem here, Max isn't catching him. So Max is resigned to defeat, resigned to not beating Lewis Hamilton in that race unless Hamilton suffers some sort of misfortune. And, it must be disappointing for him. He must be feeling a little bit upset. We know Max, he's not the most emotionally stable people in the world. And, his lifelong dream of becoming a Formula One world champion, he got so close, having been gifted every opportunity, he couldn't get the job done. And so he must be feeling a little bit downbeat. But now, what now? Now there might be a glimmer of hope, because now there's an incident, and this now might give Max Verstappen this opportunity that didn't look like it was going to be possible, but it might give Max, out of nowhere, an opportunity to achieve his ambition, to achieve his dream. How does that make you feel, Max? You knowing how emotionally stable that you are, Max. You're just as cool as a cucumber, aren't you, Max? Let's see how, bearing in mind all these dynamics, let's hear how Max Verstappen responds to this situation where he was resigned to losing the world championship. But now, out of nowhere, there might be, okay, if they can get this recovered in time, there might be one last opportunity for him. Okay, so let's see, with those dynamics in play, how Max responds to that and how he utilises his extra mental capacity to handle the situation. Let's have a look.
Latifi's completely in the middle of the road, debris all over the shop.
Safety car, you'd think, with a situation like that on, a section of the track which is like a street circuit. So really, there's no way of, well, as we know, the way that they do this with Formula One. If you've got a Formula One car that's on the track and essentially either broken down or crashed, if it's in an area whereby you can get get marshals on there and wheel it away without putting the marshals in danger, you might try and deal with it like that. But realistically, when a car's crashed, you're not necessarily going to be able to wheel it away very easily, because you've probably damaged the suspension of the car, meaning it's not going to be able to be pushed that easily. If there's debris on the track, that's going to need to be swept. And also the location of it, you're coming around, relatively blind corner and upon that. So you'd be putting the marshals in a lot of danger by not deploying the safety car. So knowing what we know about Formula One, knowing that the requirement of race control is to make sure of the safety of both the competitors and the marshals, it's highly likely there's going to be a safety car. Now, we know with a safety car, that bunches the entire field. And we know as well from every safety car situation that's taken place since the beginning of the reintroduction of these regulations at the start of the 2012 season, you've got to do this unlapping procedure, meaning that all these cars in between Max and Lewis, they'll get cleared out of the way, as will the cars that are behind Max as well. They'll get cleared out of the way. It's not just clearing them out of the way, though. It's actually affording them the opportunity to make it around the track and catching the back of that safety car snake to restore sporting fairness to all competitors, to restore the correct race order prior to the resumption of racing, with all the previously built up advantages between all competitors wiped out. They don't tell you that bit, okay, because that all feeds into their lie narrative. But don't worry about that either. We're talking about Max's extra mental capacity here. But all of a sudden, there might be just one chance.
Safety car deployed, Max. Safety car.
You see, if it was just, there is a lag. There is a lag between these communications of about 4 seconds, I would estimate. 4 to 5 seconds. So Max will have heard that message about 4 or 5 seconds before we are hearing it played to us in this footage. Hence, you've seen him already slow the car down significantly, which would be clearly slowed down far more, how he has just done it, than he would have done had it have just been waved yellow flags at the site of the incident. They'd still be carrying a lot of speed at this stage, were it not for the fact that they've been notified this is a safety car. Back up, back out of this. So he's already been told that.
Deployed.
And Giampiero Lambiase, again, the man with all the additional extra mental capacity, he would have known that his favourite driver, the guy that he's doing the job for, was out of the World Championship effectively, unless something happened. But now something's happened. Now there might be a chance. Let's see how excited Giampiero is about that. Let's see how Giampiero reacts to that.
Middle of the road, debris all over the shop. Safety car deployed, Max. Safety car deployed.
Safety car deployed, Max. There might be a chance. There might be a chance, Max. No, Giampiero, cool as a cucumber, isn't it? Safety car deployed, Max. Safety car deployed. That's fine, Max. It's a safety car deployed. It's okay. We were going to lose the championship, Max, but safety car deployed.
Dash positive.
Delta positive, Max. Delta positive. Cool as a cucumber. What jeopardy? Is he excited? Is he excited that this could be his chance? Could be his chance.
Let's say keep tight around turn 14.
Keep tight around 14, Max.
Keep tight around turn 14.
Cashier number 6, please. So there's Nicholas Latifi's car. He's keeping tight around turn 14.
Box and pit confirm, please, Max.
And box and pit confirm, Max. Pit confirm. Smooth. And box, Max. This is our chance, Max. This is our chance on the fresh, soft compound tyres, which are going to fire up, Max. Come on, Max. This could be it, Max. Come on, Max. We're all going crazy, but Giampiero's not. Giampiero is relaxed about the situation, and so is Max. Max is cool, using his excess mental capacity.
Box, pit confirm. Strat 12 in pit lane.
Yeah, but he's a little bit more energised where he's Strat 12 in the pit lane. Don't fuck this bit up, Max. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Box and pit confirm, please, Max. Box, pit confirm. Strat 12 in pit lane.
Max has used his excess mental capacity to remember to hit the pit lane limiter button so that he didn't infringe.
Okay, strat 8. Strat 8. Safety car's just picked up Hamilton.
Now, just to let you know, Max, what we've decided there, because I know you didn't use your excess mental capacity to question the call there. What we've done, although we've pitted you and the cars that stayed out, which in this particular instance, were, who was it? Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel, who had lapped already, but they didn't pit when you did. So they remained on track and essentially now unlapped themselves. So now in between you and Hamilton, there is now 5 cars. So what it means, if the race director elects to restart by not doing the optional, it's not optional, the optional unlapping procedure, you're now 5 cars back. So we might have let you down a little bit there, Max. But the way we thought is if he does do it, you're on the fresher tyres, and that's going to give you a massive advantage. And if he cheats for you, if he can't do the unlapping procedure in time and cheats for you, then you'll win anyway. It's fine, okay? So, but you know that, Max. Don't worry about that. So we thought we'd explain that to you, because otherwise we know that you'd come out of them pits and go, "Why have you pitted me? I'm now 5 cars back." Because I know your excess mental capacity would have made you realise that now you're 5 cars behind Hamilton, and previously you were only 3 cars. And should the race director elect to resume the race without doing that, you've actually been put in a worse position, Max. And I know normally that when that happens, you get frustrated and you drive your car into another car, because it's not your fault. It's always somebody else's fault, isn't it, Max? So, but we thought we'd make that clear for you so you didn't have a tantrum. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
So just keep following your dash.
Just follow your dash, Max. I mean, Max isn't asking, what's the crack then? Okay, and now I'm on lap 54. I've now got 4 and the rest of this lap left, so less than 5 laps to go. What's the crack? Is this going to restart? Am I going to get a chance at winning the World Championship? Because this is Max Verstappen. This is his chance at his first ever World Championship. You'd be a bit excited, wouldn't you? You'd be a bit excited. What's happening, lads? Can you keep me informed of what's going on? Am I going to get a chance here? We know what Max is like, bit of a scamp. Is he asking?
Safety car currently at turn 7.
How many laps remaining?
There's 4 laps, including this one.
And there's 4 laps, including this one, Max. See, Max, how many laps are remaining? Says Max. Max sounded excited in his voice there, didn't he? No, he didn't. If it was you, what would be an authentic reaction if it was you? If you were driving that car in his position, okay, knowing all the circumstances, does this sound authentic?
How many laps remaining?
There's 4 laps, including this one.
You see, the guy that's in the lead sounds a bit more stressed than this guy, doesn't he? But he's got nothing to lose, so he's relaxed. He's relaxed. I mean, I guess you can be relaxed if you know what's going to happen, but now you're Max Verstappen. You've come by there when you're on your lap 53. Now you're on your lap 54, and the car's there, but now there's a load of white powder there. Now, how does this affect the likelihood of this race restarting and the likelihood of you now being able to have a chance of winning the World Championship? How does this make you feel? And then what are you going to say to your team, using your excess mental capacity? I mean, I'd have been having a word. I'd have been having a chat to my my man in my race engineer, saying, "Oh, they've set a fire extinguisher off here. That's going to prolong this recovery. Doubt it's going to happen." Not Max though. Max is using his excess mental capacity to evaluate the situation. So we're now on lap 55. You know, it's a 58 lap race, and the time is ticking down, and the chance of Max having a chance at his first ever world championship, it's slipping away, isn't it? How is this making Max feel?
Could I have mode 3 for now, please, Max? Mode 3. Just keep.
Yeah, see, Giampiero is in the same situation. You know, this chance is slipping away. Mode 3, please, Max.
Working the tyres. Keep working the tyres. Okay, so the Williams is on a crane that's being moved out of the way now, but still safe.
Oh, Giampiero knows. Giampiero knows that the Williams is on a crane now. Now, Brundle and Crofty, they don't know. Is there a crane on track? Getting that Williams out of the way. Can't see. But Giampiero can see.
Stay hard left through 14.
Williams is on a crane now, Max. This means you might have a chance, Max. You might have a chance. There it is. There's the crane. There's Latifi's car. This is coming up to the conclusion of lap 55. Now, Max, I know you've got all the excess mental capacity, but there might be a lot of things going through your brain. So let's just refresh this, Max. We're going to now be entering lap 56, and lap 56 is the crucial lap. Okay, they have to declare the track safe on lap 56, hand back to race control, and race control then release the lapped cars to do the unlapping procedure. Okay, because they need to have passed the leader in the safety car before the end of lap 56, so that lap 57 can be that mandatory lap afforded to those release cars with which to try and make it around the track and catch up with the safety car snake. And that's the only way we'll get a racing lap, unless they keep the lapped cars in situ and restart the race like that, which you're not allowed to do. That's just the bullshit scenario, but I'm just saying that just to highlight just what a load of bollocks it is. Anyway, still a load of white powder on here though, Max. I don't know whether we can see any debris when we zoom in. Let's have a look to see if we can see any not higher definition enough stuff here. So sorry, I can't show you the magnitude of any debris that was still remaining, but certainly the white powder would be affecting grip conditions on exit of a corner, risking cars having an accident by the track having that lack of grip in that position. It is the role of the clerk of the course to deal with that prior to declaring the track now safe again and fit for racing. So you're now on lap 56, Max. All right, this is the crucial lap. We'll just go to data view.
3 laps.
3 laps to go. Lap 56. Just to confirm, just so that you can see I'm not lying. You can do this at home if you want to have as much fun as me. 3 laps to go. So this one's the crucial one. The unlapping procedure has to start this lap, giving the following lappers the lap afforded to those release cars, and then lap 58 can be a racing lap. That's going to be your only chance.
These back markers need to get out of the way.
Excellent, Max. Max is using his excess mental capacity to know that it's this lap that this unlapping procedure has to take place on. But he's using his excess mental capacity to go with the script of the back markers needing to get out of the way. So you see, Max, it's not about getting them out of the way, because again, with your excess mental capacity, you'll have known that where we are,
Perez.
when Nicholas crashed, Lando here, the orange dot tucked up behind Lewis Hamilton, he was closer to the car in front of him, Pierre Gasly, than you were to Hamilton. But now, because of this safety car situation, Pierre Gasly is pitted and he's now going to make his way and he'll catch Tsunoda and he'll be right at the back of this safety car snake. So what you've got to do is you've got to restore sporting fairness to Lando Norris so that he's put back in a position where he can challenge Gasly for position. That's not getting out of the way, Max, and you do know that because, with your excess mental capacity, they tell us that, when you're driving your Formula One car, you're driving everybody else's car too. And Max is the expert of the driving regulations, the driving guidelines. Max is the expert of everything. He knows the rules, the regulations, the mystery driving guidelines. The one where Karun Chandok will tell us, nowhere does it state that the car on the inside has to remain on the track. Yet when justifying all these times where Max Verstappen fucks his car at the other car and drives it off the track. But Karun Chandok validates that. Anyway, obviously with Max being the expert of the rules and the regulations and the driver guidelines, which aren't guidelines, that's just a made-up thing to validate his wrong driving style. Max tells us, we'll go back. What does he say? Let's just go back to get it in full.
These back markers need to get out of the way.
You're right in as much that this is the lap they need to do the unlapping procedure on in order to get the race going again, Max. And I know that you'd be excited about that because that's going to need to happen for you to have a chance at, having a go at becoming a world champion. So I know you're keen for that to happen. But what's crucial, you're missing the bit here, Max, and that is that the clerk of the course has to ensure that the track is safe before that happens. Okay? And it's not for you to say, oh, they've got to get out of the way. No. What's going to happen is you just carry on driving your car, all right? Don't bother using your excess mental capacity to make other people's decisions for them because you don't know, because you can't see what's going on there at turn 14 and the clear-up operation, Max, all right? There's a load of marshals there in orange overalls sweeping the track, and it's being overseen by the clerk of the course. And once the clerk of the course is satisfied that the surface of the track is clean, he'll then check the barriers as well. And once he's satisfied everything is all good to go, he'll radio back to race control, and race control will make that decision, Max. But I'm sure you're aware of that because, you've got that much excess mental capacity And also, you're not using your full mental capacity in driving the car. You're only pootling around behind the safety car. So you're not even using a fraction of your mental capacity in doing that at this speed, in this situation. And part of your mental capacity is on the excitement of the potential of what could happen here, Max. It's exciting. What jeopardy?
They should unlock themselves.
Yep, they will once that message comes through.
Yes, they will. We're very relaxed about this, says Giampiero. I mean, Giampiero's not won a world championship himself, has he? You know, being the race engineer, was he Seb's racing engineer? I don't think he was. I don't know. Don't care. But he's relaxed. He's cool.
Okay, so stay online, Max. Those lap cars are now being allowed to
Buffering.
overtake.
Stay online, Max. Those lapped cars are now being allowed to overtake. Yep. This is the lap it needs to happen. Yeah. So it's all going rather nicely.
Stay online. Let them go off the racing line. I'm not sorry.
No, it's not going nicely. Oh,
Cancel that. Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake.
what's going on here then? You've just told me they're going to overtake. Now they're not. What's going on? You're Max Verstappen. You've just driven by. You've seen the Nicholas Latifi's car being craned off the track, so you know that the track has been cleared of the car. You don't know whether they're still sweeping any debris, right? But you've just been told they're going to release them, and now you've been told that they're not. What's going on now? Now, surely, if you're Max Verstappen, how are you going to react to that? Because we know Max is a bit of a hothead and he can't cope very well when things aren't going his way. How does Max respond to that?
Yeah, of course. Typical decision.
Well, that's not really typical of the Max we know. Max was very philosophical about it. Very philosophical. You know, normally knowing Max, Max would be raging normally. Again, in a situation where he'd be excited. He was very calm. He took it rather well. But he's wrong, though, in believing it's a typical decision. It's absolutely atypical. Okay, it doesn't happen. It's never happened before. So it's far from typical. All right. So is excess mental capacity malfunctioned there? Let's have a look.
Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake.
You know, and it took his time. He was nice and composed.
Yeah, of course. Typical decision.
Not a typical decision, Max, in any way, shape, or form. Because you see, during these safety car situations, what they don't do is make that announcement. You see, all they do is that they just keep lapping behind the safety car until it's safe to do that unlapping procedure. They don't tell them we're not overtaking, we're not overtaking, we're not overtaking, we're not overtaking, we're not overtaking. They don't do that. What they do is safety car. You know the drill, lads. Line up. We'll tell you when we're changing it. We'll tell you when things are clear, and then when we'll do the unlapping. We'll let you know when that happens. We don't announce this won't be happening because it's not allowed. But then when they do say that, well, that's not a valid call. But Max is saying it's a typical decision. This isn't right, is it? It's not right. But how do Red Bull and Max react to that?
It's classic.
It's classic. Yes, it's classic. Because that's how, again, if you were in contention for your first world championship and things weren't going your way, you know, the natural reaction would be going to go, oh, it's classic.
I'm not surprised.
And Max isn't surprised. You know, the entire interaction is 20 seconds. F1 TV they needed that so that they could edit it down to 12 seconds. And when we get round to kind of turns 10, 11, 12, they'll play that back to the global audience to make the audience feel that Red Bull think they're being hard done by here. When the reality is, it's classic and Max isn't surprised. But the reality is that there's Nicholas Latifi's car. And if you look beyond Baldy here, there's marshals on the track in the background still sweeping on the track. There they are. But it's classic, and Max isn't surprised. So you can do this at home. No trickery from me. Back to Max, and we'll go back 10 seconds. Go back to 10 seconds because obviously I've just played a bit of footage there of Nicholas Latifi's camera.
I'm not surprised.
And Max once again is not surprised. You shouldn't be surprised, Max, because there's still marshals on the track and therefore they can't release the lapped cars. So you're not being hard done by. Hopefully, with your excess mental capacity, you'd be able to understand that. And again, what you'd also know now, if you're not going to be these lapped cars not released this lap, then it's going to be a safety car finish. Okay, there's still a bit of this lap left, so there's still some hope for you that they could be released this lap to still make lap 57 that mandatory lap afforded to those released cars, so that lap 58 can be a racing lap. So there's still that option. There's still the fake option, which is not allowed, of resuming the race with those lapped cars in situ, which you're not allowed to do, but let's just go with the bullshit anyway. But if that was the case, Max is then going to be super angry because he's going to go, fucking hell, I was only 3 cars back, now I'm 5 cars back, now I've got no fucking chance, because we know that's what Max does. I mean, you wouldn't hear it like that, you'd hear beep, 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 as they have to blank the word fuck out when Max is using the radio often, because we know young Max, the little scamp. He gets a bit hot-headed at times, doesn't he? But he's quite calm here when he's in contention for his first world championship. We're getting closer to the end of this crucial lap, Max, and we're still not getting any instruction for the unlapping. Are we getting? Is the tension rising, Max? You're doing well to remain calm, Max. I mean, some drivers would be getting a bit frantic, going, "What's happening? What's happening? Are they going to do it? Am I going to get a chance?" But Max is quite calm. He's just resigned that it's a typical decision that he's not surprised about. Even though it's a completely atypical decision. Atypical in that you wouldn't get that announcement. But entirely the right decision, because you can't release the lapped cars when the marshal's still on the track, sweeping the track. Now, again, let's confirm what's going on here. Because the marshals are about departing now. I don't know what we'll see. It might be too late. Let's have a look. Well, here he is, still Nicholas Latifi's car. I don't know if we're going to be able to see through there. Well, it's all white because of the lighting and the resolution. Oh, there you go. There is a orange overalled marshal on the track. You would have got a glimpse. If you rewind this video just a second or two, you'd have got the glimpse of the orange, and you got a slight glimpse around there. So, even at this stage here, as they're coming through that complex, there's still marshals on the track. As you can see there in the orange. Okay, so we'll go back to Max Verstappen'S on boards, and we'll go back 10 seconds again on Max. Go back 10 again, just so we don't miss anything. So now we come round here, and what we see in Max, oops, steady on, let's go back, in case you missed it. Typical decision, Max isn't surprised, but there is marshals in the orange overalls still on the track as Max is driving by. There's one jumping over there. There he is. Look, here's a couple here, still there. So it's not typical, Max. You don't release the lap cars when there's still marshals about, right? And we're approaching the end of the lap. And what's going to happen before now and the end of the lap is that the clerk of the course has got to ensure that these marshals are off the track. He's got to be satisfied that the barriers are all okay. And then he's got to radio back to race control and say, okay, the track is clear and safe. I've marshalled around all the radio positions around the track. We're good to go again. Race control will then radio all the teams and drivers and say, right, tell your drivers to stay online, and we're now going to perform the unlapping procedure. So those cars that have been lapped, 8 of them, and here they are, we'll send the message out. You cars now are allowed to unlap yourself. The safety car light will go green, giving them the instruction, and we begin that. That's going to take time, more time than it's going to be before we start lap 57, which means it's a safety car finish. And Max Verstappen, unless Lewis Hamilton now suffers a mechanical failure, you're not going to win the World Championship. Must be frustrating for you, Max. You know, using your excess mental capacity because you've got that much, you'd be able to work that out at this stage, okay? As you're driving your own car and everybody else's car for them, and being the expert of the rules and the regulations and the guidelines, okay? Because we know that about Max. So he'd know at this stage that was the crack. He'd also know that it's not possible to resume the race with lapped cars in situ, and he'd also know that actually, even if that was the case, which it's not, that now, if we go through with that bullshit scenario, he'd be 5 cars back when, without changing the tyres, he'd have only been 3 cars back. So he might be a bit frustrated with that, but it's not that he's going to be frustrated with that because he knows that that's a bullshit situation because Max knows the rules and regulations of the sport because he's the expert of them. So don't worry about that. I mean, obviously, the radio communications are all congruent with how I'm describing the actual jeopardy of the situation, aren't they? They perfectly tally. You see, the Johnny Wankrag that likes to tell us what they think in the comments section and what constitutes evidence and what doesn't constitute evidence. You see, one of the things that they will introduce when it comes to criminal trials is the notion of congruency. Is somebody's conduct congruent with the situation? And is their behaviour typical of what you'd expect somebody's behaviour to be in a given set of circumstances? And if not, that leads to significant suspicion. And when we then assess balances of probability, and we assess the situation with all of these factors involved, and that becomes one of the factors, that constitutes something called evidence. That's evidencing somebody's conduct in the situation. Conduct that doesn't appear to be congruent with such jeopardy, does it? That would be evidence. Don't you really let head so, lads? You tell us what you think the evidence is and what it's not.
Keep working the tyres up.
See, that's not congruent, you see. Because we're now on lap 57. And he's getting instructed to keep working the tyres. Well, ultimately, this is now a safety car finish. Those lapped cars were not released. Even if they are released on this lap, The safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. This means this is a safety car finish where Giampiero, race engineer, master strategist that knows the rules and regulations of the sport, he'll know it's a safety car finish now. He'll know the rules, he'll know how to apply them. He'll know it's a safety car finish, but he's still telling his driver, keep the tyres warm, Max, keep the tyres warm.
Good to Brayton.
And Max is remarkably quiet. You know, he's focusing all his excess mental capacity. I mean, you'd think he'd be a bit frustrated, a bit disappointed. You know, that glimmer of a chance of having one chance at, you know, getting back to having a race to have a chance of winning the World Championship. He's seeing what's unfolded. He's seeing that there's a car that's caught fire because of the powder that was then used and how long it's taken, and that they weren't able to do the unlapping procedure because clearly there were marshals on the track when they've come by there on lap 56, which is the reason, you know, why they didn't let the lapped cars through. Cancel that. Not lapped cars will not be allowed to. Well, they can't because it's not safe to. So it is typical that you don't release them. But it's not that they're trying to thwart you, Max. It's just safety basics. Yeah, so you're aware of all that. And, you know, it must be a little bit frustrating, a bit disappointing that it wasn't possible. You know, and you're a bit resigned. It's been a tough season, but you're philosophical about it. You're resigned that you're not going to win. You've been told to keep your tyres going, but you know that realistically, unless Hamilton crashes out now or suffers a mechanical failure, you're second. It's disappointment. A Christian to Michael. Why aren't we getting these lap cars out of the way? Because Christian, my big one, bragging there, Michael. My big one is to clear this incident up. We only need one racing lap. Copy that. Max using his excess mental capacity to make sure he didn't overtake that car during the safety car period. Well done, Max.
I think all the cars ahead of you are going to pass Hamilton. Everybody behind you will stay in position.
Very calm there, Giampiero. Max, this could be on. This could be on, Max. You still might get a chance. You know, we've only got the remainder of this lap, and then the last lap. It should be a safety car finish. But I'll tell you, all those ahead of you, Max, are going to be, they're going to pass. But those ones behind you won't. That's not allowed. That's not allowed. Giampiero knows that.
Yeah, so everybody up to Vettel are allowed to overtake Hamilton. Safety car is in this lap, Max.
That's not allowed. Are we excited yet, kiddies?
Mode 1 and Strat 1. Mode 1, Strat 1.
Mode 1, Strat 1.
And B-bal offset when you need it. B-bal offset. This is it, mate.
Ultimate focus there from Max. No frustration how it was all going wrong. Very calm, collected, wasn't it, from Max? It's not congruent with Max, is it?
This is it.
you know, we'll get the strap-on fanboys just trying to claim, oh, it's just how professional Max is. We've seen Max's level of professionalism. We know. I mean, he's that professional. He's overtaken under safety car. No.
Just think about your tools you need.
And use that excess mental capacity to not break the rules of the sport.
Safety car turn 14. Remember, you're racing from the line. Safety car turn 15.
Giampiero, Matt, you don't need to tell him that he's racing from the line. He's got the excess mental capacity to already know that. He already knows that. This is Max Verstappen, everybody. And it's go. It's go. Was it go for Lando? Let's have a. Where's Lando? Car number 4.
Overtake available. Alonso will have DRS.
You're not allowed to overtake. This is the lap, the unlapping lap, where you're making it around the track, making every effort to catch the back of the pack. Still yellow lights. You see, when the safety car's in, the yellow lights go out. So yellow lights are there. And then let's go to Max Verstappen again. Indeed. So they've sent cars off to do the unlapping lap, and they told them that they're racing that lap. That's another breach of the regulations. That's not allowed. Max would have known that using his excess mental capacity. Max will be driving their cars for them as well, knowing that they're not allowed to overtake. So if they do, that's naughty. That's illegal. Typical decision that he's not surprised about. Indeed. So what we'll do another video like this, assessing Fernando Alonso's excess mental capacity and how Fernando was able to deal with similar circumstances where, you know, just one lap round with the car still on the track and the fire extinguisher deployed. Fernando wants to unlap now to get the job done. And also knowing that Fernando is in 8th position, knowing Max Verstappen's in 2nd position, Fernando, with his excess mental capacity, feels that Max is 2 cars behind him, and I know, but he should be 2 cars ahead of me. Fernando, with your excess mental capacity, you should realise you're not in 4th, right? You're in 8th, all right? So if he's 2 cars ahead of you and he's in 2nd, that would put you 4th, but you're not. So if you're in 8th and he's in 2nd, is that 6 cars ahead of you, Fernando? Somebody is, I think, making an overestimation of Fernando Alonso's excess mental capacity. But that depends on how much dick you want to suck if you're Andrew Benson. Anyway, thank you for your time on this one. And we'll be back soon to assess Fernando Alonso's spare mental capacity. Spare, excess, same difference, I guess. Anyway, maybe we'll add some criteria. Let me know what you think in the comment section as how we should assess somebody's spare mental capacity and whether Max Verstappen exhibited all of his spare mental capacity at Abu Dhabi 2021. Thank you for your time.